Good evening everyone and welcome to round 7 of the Flat Out E-Racing V8 Championship based on the M3 BMW. This has been a fantastic series so far. We had a couple of rounds where we haven't had any coverage, but we're back here at Sergena road circuit, so we're in a real, bare basic circuit here tonight. It's no big runoffs or anything like that. It's crash barriers on the side of the road, so any mistakes for the drivers tonight is really going to be penalised. We've got, just looking at the quick championship, the drivers are currently in their qualifying period, which is 10 minutes, and they're just on the out lap at the moment. Just to let you know where everybody stands, the leading driver at the moment is Season4, who is way out in the front of the championship. He's got 148 points. Next up is Dan TGT. Now really second place is where the battle is for this championship, and we're on board with Dan at the moment, so he seems to have backed off, so we'll hop on with our championship leader, who's Season4. So, but Dan is second in the championship with 117 points. Stormfly is third on 101. Timorous is fourth on 90, and right behind me is Lockstech on 88. So those four guys really are quite close together. And then following behind him, we've got Select in 6th, Snod 77 in 7th, Cajun 100 in 8th, Pineapple Head in 9th, and Blue Jones Senior in 10th. So, but really particularly between 5th and 2nd, it's really tight in the championship. So this is going to be a race which is really going to show these guys mettle, because we've got a 10-minute qualifying and we've only got 7.5 minutes left, and then we've got a 40-minute race. And to liven things up, the tyre wear and fuel usage are 5 times the normal usage, so that will force guys into the pits. So it will be interesting to see how that affects the race. So here we go. The guys are coming around, I think, close to starting to complete their laps. So we'll start to see how their lap times are coming in. I understand about 140 should be around about a good lap time. So let's hop on board Season4, who is the guy who is leading the championship at the moment, so we should get a fairly good idea as he sets the benchmark round that last right-hander using all the curb. Cajun 100 set the first mark at 142, Season4 140.8, so that gives us a fairly good idea where we are at the moment. Nathan Slug, new driver to the series, just coming across the finish line there, 144. Snod 143, and Timorous up there 142, so that slots him into third. Stu Selton, that's a new driver to the series as well, he's down there in 8th at the moment. I'll just drop him down there to 9th. Mark Parker, who I understand is a driver that has the main problem of keeping himself awake, he's doing quite a good job at the moment there in 144.6. And Blue Jones has just slotted in there at 144.069, and that puts him into 8th place. Okay, so Dave Cannon's having a look into us on chat at the moment. Great to hear everybody dropping in their comments. Who's your driver of the night? Who do you think's going to win? 40-minute race. It's going to be a really live one tonight. So bit of a street circuit here, barriers fairly much all the way around the circuit, so it'll be interesting to see how that affects, because those little mistakes are going to be quite costly. So it's not like one of those wide open Formula 1 circuits. They're going to have to like brush those barriers all the way around. It's going to be like the TT of V8s, so it'll be great to see how this works out. So let's see who we've got on the move. Now, Dan's a driver we can hop on board with. He's a guy that tends to build up his speed as the qualifying session goes on. We're just over halfway through the qualifying session. So, as he's working his way round that last tight right-hander, now it's absolutely flat out here down to the finishing line. Just grace that curb on the right-hand side. So who's the movers and the shakers? Cajun 100 still there in 4th. Dan, can he snatch pole? He's come to the finish line. Yes, he has, by 0.062 a second. Fantastic stuff there by Dan. Great stuff. So Sincor's going to have to come back at that one. He's only got 4 minutes to do it. So who else have we got on the move? Cajun 100 there in 4th. He's going to be chuffed with that one. Now in 5th we've got Timorous, our representative from the Greek side. Now he's a real thinking driver, is our Timorous. He really works hard. He tends to work on a single stop. He tends to be easy on the brakes, easy on the tyres, easy on the fuel, and he tends to make sure he gets his way through to the finish on a single stop. Sometimes it works, sometimes it doesn't. So let's see how that shakes out for him tonight, but he's currently 5th on the grid. So Snod's back with us this week. He's down there in 6th. So let's see who else we've got on the move of the show. Let's hop on board with Sincor. So he's working his way around this circuit. We've fairly much got a square here. If you look in the top right hand corner, you can see the layout of the circuit, and it's fairly much a square with those tight right handers all the way round. So obviously the wear is going to apply on those right handers as the load of the car eases over to the right hand side of it and just puts more pressure on those outside tyres. So be interested to see how the drivers manage that as it goes on. Timorous has gone for the pits 3 minutes ago. I'm not sure he's going to get a chance to come out to do another lap, so he may consider he's done his best. So Sincor's on his out lap here. He's just coming around that last tight right-hander. He's obviously gone for a fresh set of tyres. So we'll keep an eye on the bottom left-hand corner of the screen. If anybody puts in a quicker time... Oh, here we go. Noddy's mate set at 1:42. He's up to 4th. He's knocked Cajun down. So Noddy's mate's got some pace tonight. So let's see. Let's sit on board with Sincor. I tell you what, we're going to go on board with him. Here we go. Over the start line, over that crest, down, hard on the brakes, down to 2nd or 3rd gear. He's going for 2nd. Runs wide. Round this slight right-hander, round the slight left-hander. And then he's coming up to this really tricky section. He's going to have to jam on the brakes any second now. Here we go. Bam! On the brakes. Down to 3rd gear, round the left-hander. Holding it in 3rd. Oh, dropping it to 2nd. Round the right-hander. There we go. Gas, gas, gas. All the way down. Heading towards that abandoned church in front of us. Coming up to another tight left. Here we go. Back to 3rd. Maybe back to 2nd. No, he's holding on to 3rd. Just drifting it nice right to that barrier. So here we go. Noddy's mate right in the way. Is he going to get out of the way? Yes, we're by him. No problem at all. So up round this slight left. And then we're going to be absolutely whamming that brake pedal really hard as we come up to this tight left-hander. Bam! Here we go. Down to 3rd, down to 2nd, round the left-hander. Here we go. Gas it all the way out. Slight right-hander. It's not going to be a problem. Here we go. All the way down. We've got a little bit of a left-hand kick coming in. Here we go. Over the crest. And round the left-hander. Oh, just feathering that throttle. Oh, right up against the barrier. Right, and now hard on the brakes. And it's so important this corner. So he's up so far on the lap. Here we go. Just coming out. The important thing here is that, oh, pressing all the wrong buttons. Sincor just needs to be absolutely flat out round that last corner. It's so important to get the right exit speed. We've only got less than a minute left. Here we go. Across the finish line. Can he do it? Yes! He's into pole position by half a second. Dan's in the pits. He can't respond. It's down to the race now. Let's see who else is up to action now. Stormfly in 3rd. He's just crossed the finishing line, so he's got nothing more to throw out there. He's got 1 lap possibly remaining. Nathan Slug down there in 12th. You can just see in the background. Let's work through the other guys. Lockstech, he's been competitive in this series as well. Looks like he's got out on a new set of tyres. I think he's on a hot lap, so let's stick with him and see what he can do. Well, here we go, the time's running down. 5, 4, 3. Oh, Lockstech, he just ran wide. He's over the grass, he's over the gravel. It's all over. He can't do any better. He's going to be stuck down there in 5th. We've just got 3 minutes remaining for all the drivers to finish their laps. Let's see who else is out on a quick one. We've got Noddy's mate with Select there. They're running around together. Never the best way to run round in qualifying unless you're particularly looking for a slipstream. Let's see, and we've got Stormfly in the background. Stormfly in 4th at the moment. Now he may be benefiting from the slipstream of these two guys, Noddy's mate and Select in front of him. Oh, Slick, look at that. Rattling the barrier all the way out there right-hander. I'm sure that can't have helped him. He may have got a track limits penalty from that. So, okay, Stu Stout, one of our new drivers, jumped into third there, unseen by us. Absolutely fantastic. Noddy's mate heading up to the finish line, along with Select and Stormfly. Anybody? Select goes quicker. Stormfly goes quicker. Stormfly up to third. Select, where did he end up in that? He's still sixth. Let's have a look. Who's fourth at the moment? Stu Stout. He's just got knocked down a little bit. New driver of the series. Fantastic. I'm sure he'd be really pleased with that. Fourth place. Hopefully he's got his strategy worked out. I think we've pretty much finished everybody crossing the finish line. Stu Stout, can he put a quicker lap in? No, that's the best he could do. So, just to remind you, going forward, we have a 40-minute race, and we've got no restrictions on pit stops or anything like that. Drivers have to make their own decision. Their tyre wear and fuel usage is 5 times their normal, or what you would consider normal usage, and they have to decide. Now they can ease off, they can be coasting, lift and coast into corners, and that might make them be able to do a one-stop, or they're going to go absolutely flat out, foot to the floor, and do a two-stopper. So it'll be interesting to see how that shakes out. From experience, Timorous, who I can't see, let's just move down the... Timorous, he's down there in 10th now, but he's one of our thinking racers, and there's a fair chance that he may well come through towards the end of the race, because he's one of the guys that tends to go for a one-stop. So there's your grid. We've got 13 drivers on the grid, and so here we go. Okay, so we're on the grid now, and just remind you, it's a clutch start, so everyone has to be careful. So they have to make sure that they don't do anything wrong in respect of jumping the start, because obviously that will put them on the naughty step and they'll get a penalty, and you'll see what will happen, because the cars will jump forward and then they'll go, here we go, and we're off. Here we go, everyone looks like they've got a good go away from the start. Sincore's got a clean start. Dan's to his right, but I don't think he's got a particularly quicker start. Stormfly waiting there. Oh, he's pushing Steve Stout on the cross. Oh, hello, somebody went deep there at the first corner. Didn't see who it was. I think they'll be dropping back, so we'll have a quick look at that in a sec. But Sincore has got a little bit of clear air to themselves there. Steve Stout there still in fourth. Oh, gone a little bit deep in that corner. So let's just hop back in second place. So we've got Dan in second, who tends to be one of our thinking drivers and tends to come into the race as time goes on. He's not one of these guys that will dive bomb you at the first corner. So in that M&M's car, he'll tend to let the race come to him. So well, let's see how he gets on. But he's got close attention at the moment from Stormfly, and Stormfly has got Stu Stoughton not far behind him. So we'll be interested to see how this shakes out. Okay, and just my report in the pits, Lockstack was the driver that went wide at the first corner, so he's one of our guys up there in the championship, so he'll be working his way back up the field, so he will be really frustrated with that, but I'm sure he'll be working his way forward. So these three guys at the front are moving away with pace, so Dan is looking quite racy behind Sincore as he come around the last tight right-hander to complete the first lap. So let's see how this is going to shake out. Dan is right in that slipstream of Sincore. So, okay, just looking down the field, Steve Stout's held on there the fourth. Timorous has moved his way up, because I think he started down about 9th or 10th, so I think he'll be happy with that. Noddy's mate seems to have dropped away. I'm not quite sure where he is at the moment, but we'll keep an eye on that one. So let's just, while these guys have settled out the front, we'll just move our way down. So we've got Steve Stoughton in fourth. Good qualifying lap from him, but he's a little bit out on his own at the moment. 2.5 seconds behind that three-body battle for the lead, and about 3.7 ahead of, wow, look at this battle. We've got 5th, 6th, 7th, 8th, 9th, 10th, 11th and 12th all together. Fantastic stuff. Look at this on screen. So Nathan, new racer to this V8 series, has got all the pressure on his shoulders at the moment. We'll keep an eye on the lead in the top left-hand corner just to see if anything happens. But Nathan is hanging on to this. Look at all these guys just queuing up behind. Is anyone going to take the line? So they come up to this tight left-hander. Timorous is looking quite racy. Oh, well, okay, 100 dives his nose out. Has he got the move done? No, he hasn't. And Mark Parker's having a go as well. Wow, this is all going on here. Nathan Sluggs does seem to be going against his name there. He's certainly not a slug. He's keeping ahead of these guys in front of him. So here they go. Oh, look, they're moving left, they're moving right. They're all trying to get by. Here we go. Last tight left-hander before the start-finish straight. Now, oh, that was a bit rude. I think that was either Timorous or Lockstack. No, I don't think. Gave Cajun 100 a bit of a heavy shunt round there. I think the stewards will be having a look at that one. So unfortunately, that's broken our little battle up there at the moment. So we'll move back in that one. So we've got Timorous in sixth, who is our renowned expert at lift and coast, egging his fuel out through the race. So don't be surprised if he goes for a single stop. Our first stops we're expecting at around about 14 minutes. So it'll be interesting to see how that one works out. So we'll go to Lockstack in seventh. Now he may have problems. Oh, he's running a bit wide there onto the gravel. He's getting a little bit overly racy there, and Select there in eighth is right on him. So I think one of those drivers were involved in that incident with Cajun 100. So I think the stewards will be having a look at that after the race. So we'll move down to Select in eighth. And then we've got Blue Jones Senior. He's up in ninth. I'm sure he's going to be well chuffed with that. But he's going wheel to wheel there with Noddy's mate. Who's going to win this one out? Here we go. Up towards the tight left-hander. It's going to be who's the bravest on the brakes. Here we go. Noddy's on the outside. Jones on the inside. Oh, a little bit of a heavy shove there. Oh, no, Blue Jones. That's naughty, 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 naughty. So, unfortunately, I think Noddy's mate is now recovering there. A bit like Cajun 100, who is now up there into 10th. And back there in 12th is Mark Parker. Now, I'm not quite sure what's happened there, because he dropped back. And the same with Snod, who does seem to have lost an awful lot of time now. I'm not quite sure what happens there, because he's quite a way back there, Snod. And Snod's one of the guys, you know, I'm being kind, he's not one of the ones I expect to be challenging for the lead, but I don't expect him to be down in 13th. So normally he's somewhere up around about 5th or 6th, so I'm quite surprised by that. So let's hop back on with the leaders and see what's happening. So Sincor's still in... So Sincor's out in the lead by about just under 2 seconds, and he seems to be edging that out, where interestingly Dan, who's in second, is normally the one that can just wind him in as time rate. Dan is the long game player. He lets the game playing come to him. So, but interestingly, this time round, Dan seems to be struggling a little bit. That Sincor normally one that he reels in, a bit like a fisherman, just winds him in gently, 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 and gets him on the line. But this time, Stormfly is the fisherman, because he's got Dan on his hook and he's winding him back in. So Stormfly there in third is giving our man Dan quite a harrying there at the moment. So here we go, round the final left. So let's have a look, see what's happening on board with these guys. As you can see, look on your screen at the moment, bottom left hand corner, RSS means Racing Super Soft, and that shows how much their tyres are wearing. In the middle of the speedo on the left, you can see how the fuel's going. So we're 7 minutes in, and the driver we're on board with, oh, look at that down the inside. Oh, Stormfly, that was a bit rude, but everybody got away with it. He just tried a little bit brave move down the inside, and you see that's given him a big gap now between him and Dan. Going back to where I was, left hand side of your screen, in that mile per hour screen, they've got the fuel gauge inside of it, and he's used Stormfly about half of his fuel already. We're about 8 minutes in, So I don't think he's going to have to go for a 2-stop. So it'll be interesting to see how many drivers go that route, because I think you find that a lot of them, from our experience of the previous V8 races, are going for the single stop. So, and the stops now on GT Sport are quite expensive in terms of time. So I would not be surprised if that's not the way to go. So we'll have to get. So let's have a quick look back into 6th place. Oh, look at this, it's all getting a bit racy. Oh, it's a bit touchy-feely as well. Timmer's down the inside. Nathan Slug, who just got by him, has been overtaken again. And Select, one of the drivers who we know is pretty quick, he's there in 8th at the moment. He's taking the watching brief. Oh, here we go. Nathan Slug, they're going side by side. Here we go. We've got a left-hander coming up. Oh, this is all getting a bit touchy-feely. And we've got a tight left-hander coming up. Who's going to be late on the brakes? Nathan Slug going down the inside. Oh, no, he's spun out Timmerus. That's not going to end well. Oh, dear. I think the stewards are going to have a late night after this one. So let's have a quick look back. Where has Timmerus ended up in this one? Timmerus has ended back in 10th, so that is really not good. So Nathan Slug has picked up a penalty as well. I'd imagine that may have been for... oh dear, that's a bit touchy-feely. Yeah, Nathan Slug, I think you need to calm down a little bit on the way you're racing there. That this is not how flat-out e-racing do it. So he's down to 7th, so it's getting a little bit elbows out the corner, which is not really the way that we tend to work here. Just a quick bit on flat-out e-racing. We are growing absolutely exponentially at the moment. We've got our main 3 series at the moment. We've got the V8s here on a Sunday night. We've got our Group 3 on a Tuesday, and we've got our Group 4 on a Wednesday. We've got some other series starting up. If you want to find out more about us, look below the YouTube video. You'll see the link to Discord, or search for us on Facebook. We're on all the social medias. So search for us on Facebook and you'll find us on there. You can find more details of every series. We're all about fast, fair, competitive racing. So jump on and see what we're about, and if you want to get involved, you can see there's a great field out there tonight. We've only got 2 slots left on a Sunday night. We've only got 1 race left in this series. We run about 8 races per season, and just to give you an idea where we're at the moment on this one, I'm just going to say we have run 6 races so far. I'm keeping my head down because I'm hoping that the pit stops are going to start in about 3 minutes from my usual calculations. We've done so far, we've done Red Bull, Spa, Blue Moon, Suzuka, Dragon Trail Gardens. Round 6 was Interlagos, and now we're at Sardegna. And next week got the final race of the series, which is at Fuji. Fantastic track. You've got that massively long straight with that really hard braking hairpin at the end, which really gives us some great racing. And the Wednesday night series, the GT4 group, also runs the same selection of races. So we will run it here on a Sunday and then there on a Wednesday. So you will get an overlap with some drivers, but some great racing there. It's slightly different format. You've got 2 different races. You've got the normal race followed by, with qualifying. So we've got Cajun's had a bit of a problem just jumping back. He's bouncing along the gravel. He's back on the track there. It looks like he's had a bit of a bad moment. Let's hop on board. Let's see. Yeah, he's carrying a lot of damage there, but with 12 minutes of the race gone, he's in the chance of jumping into the pits just to see. Yeah, he's coming up to the pit lane. I wouldn't be at all surprised if he dives to the pit lane, goes for repairs. See, your commentator just knows all, doesn't he? Here we go. He's straight into the pits, get repairs. He's obviously made a mistake. Oh, there, we've lost the race in this. Late Nathan Slug has lost the room. Lost the room? Left the room even. So we're down to 12 races, but it's a series where actually what Nathan hasn't realised, there is a penalty for leaving early. So what we want to see is drivers sticking with it and sticking with us to the end. So if he dies out early, unfortunately, there is a penalty for that. So we want to see drivers that stick with us to the end. So if you want to get in and enjoy your racing, look us up on Facebook, look us up on Discord, links below. You can find out more about us. So let's see where we are with Phil. So Season4 is nearly 4 seconds out in front of Dan, and he's working down on Phil. Remember, it's a 40-minute race. We're 13 minutes in. So looking at Season4's Phil, he is definitely going to have to go, I think, for a 2-stop, unless I'm corrected. So let's hang on with Dan. Now, Dan is one of the guys I know that can ease it out, but I don't think, look at his field there, with nearly 6.5 minutes to... So he's the same. Now, those two guys are going to have to go. Now, the one that I think is going to be different is... Oh, press the right button. Timorous. Let's have a look. See where Timorous is. Oh, Season4 has gone for the pit. So 14 minutes in, that's roughly a third of the race. But who I've got at the moment is Timorous in 8th place, and he's still got a third of the tank. So he is going to go for a single stop. So this is a guy to watch, because I think this is going to really make a difference. So come the end of the race, he's going to have slightly more worn tyres, but I think it's going to work for his advantage. So this has brought Dan out into the lead, but I don't think he can ease this out for a single stop. So as you can see on the left hand side, everybody with a P, that's the people's jumping into the pits. So Season4's coming out in 3rd. Stormfly has pitted as well, but interestingly both of those guys are coming out in front of Timorous, who is the guy going for the 1-stop. So it doesn't look at the moment like that 1-stop is really going to work for him. So let's hang on with Dan, because I think we'll just... So Dan is going to have to pit this lap, I think, because he excuse me, he is right on the red. Now he possibly could be going for the undercut on Season4, but I don't think there was enough of a gap to do it. Now he possibly could go for a short fuel, which would bring him out in front. So I think as we see him flick round this right hand, he's going to dive across. Yeah, he's into the pits. So let's hang on board with Season4. He's currently in 3rd. Now the one that we've missed in this is Stu Stoughton, coming around that last flat right hand corner. Let's see if he's going to go for the pits. Oh, he's not. Let's have a look what he's doing on board. Now here's a guy who is coming from nowhere, and I think could be an outside bet. If you've got 20p, I might want to put it on Stu Stoughton, because we didn't realise he was going for a single stop, and by the look of his field, he's definitely going for that. He's got 16 minutes in, 4 minutes to halfway. I reckon Stu is an outside bet, because unless he gets caught by Season4 and Dan, he could be the man of the race. So Dan's had to go for a pit, because he's going for 2 stops. Season4's going pit 2 stop. So's Stormfly. The one that isn't is Timorous. Okay, hello George on YouTube, great to hear from you. Let me know who you think. Is Stu Stoughton going to pull this one off? New drivers of the series? Oh, he's voting for Timorous. I might keep your 20p in your pocket, or your 20 cents of your euro. So let's have our... If he's in Greece, it's euro. So let's have a quick look down. Who's doing what further down? Now Lockstech was a driver I think we know went off at the first corner. So let's have a look what he's doing on his fuel. He's obviously pitted, so I'd imagine he's going for a 2-stop. So he's probably going to end up somewhere midfield. Snod has worked his way through to 7th, which is roughly where I would expect him to be. And again, Snod is going, we need to make a note of this, Snod is going for a single stop by the look of it. because he's got just under a quarter tank, but we're coming up with 22 minutes remaining. So Snod is definitely on for a single stop, I would suggest. And Select, he's pitted because he's got near the fuel tank, so I would suggest he's on for a 2-stopper. So again, look at that, Snod maybe going to shuffle his way up. Noddy's mate looked like he's going for a a 2-stopper because he's got a fairly full tank. Mark Parker again, I think he's on a 2-stopper because he's got 2/3 of a tank. Okay, so Blue Jones, he's on nearly 2/3 of the tank, so he's on for a 2-stopper. So, Cajun Home, we know he's slightly recovering from the incident earlier, so again another 2-stopper, and that's it at the moment because we've lost one driver. So let's work our way back, see who's doing what. Stu Stoughton, here we go. Yeah, so watching earlier, that gap between Stu Stoughton in first and Season4 in second was about 7 seconds. It's now it was 3 as I started talking. It's now down to less than 2.5. Look at him. He's coming in the background. Season4 is coming at pace. So Stu Stoughton, fantastic strategy. He's only going to do the 1 stop, but unfortunately, with the wear on the tyres he's got, it's not working to his advantage. That 20p I bet earlier, I'm hoping I did it each way because Season4 is coming. Look at that. So let's have a look at behind Season4. Yeah, Season4's got 10 seconds on Dan. Look at that. Mirror signal manoeuvre down the inside for Season4, straight into the lead. I think Stu Stoughton's still going to walk away with a good result here. At the moment, I would guesstimate he's possibly going to end up second, maybe third. I think he's going to get a podium out of this. But unfortunately, his tyre wear is working against him. So with 20 minutes and a bit to go, I'd imagine he's going to come in at the end of this lap. So the one on the single stop that is working, who started in 10th, is up to 5th, is Timorous. So he's doing well. And Snod is in the pits. Now he's first one of our single stoppers to stop, if that's not too much of a tongue twister. So let's see what he decides to go for. He had the super soft on before. Is he going to go for the same again? He's dropped a length. They're feeling. Come on, get it in there quicker. Any second now, that guy's going to pull off and go. And he's away. So he's down to them, back on the super softs again. So he's back in 11th. But we know many of the drivers in front of him have got to pit again. So he should shuffle his way back up the pack. So I wouldn't be too concerned if I was Snod down there in 11th at the moment. So let's see how Steve's getting on at the moment. That gap between Season4 and Dan was 10 seconds. And Steve's gone for his pit stop. So he's in. And the other driver we've got that we're expecting to go for a pit stop is Timorous. So we'll hop on board with him. He's coming around now. Can he stretch it out any further? He's just dropped under 19 minutes. We're just over halfway. Yep. So that's the last of our 1 stoppers going into the pit. So that is Timorous and Stu Stoughton and Snod, who are our 3 single stoppers. So Timorous is now in the pit. So he's going for softs, I believe. He was on softs before. So he's going the soft tyre rather than super soft. Gives you not so much grip, but it gives you better grip for longer. So it's a real balance there. So it's great to see somebody doing something a little bit different even. I got different and timorous all in one word. Fantastic. So Timorous is doing something a little bit different. So he's out on the softs. He's down there in 9th at the moment. But I think all of the drivers in front of him, apart from Stu have got to pit again. So this is going to come back to us probably within the next 3 or 4 minutes, because we've got 17.5 minutes remaining. So let's hop back up the front. So Season4 and Dan, they're trading punches around about 10 seconds gap between them. So I think Season4's got this one in the bag, and I'll have to do some quick fag packet calculations because there's 25 points for a win. So with 1 round remaining, I think Season4 may have got this championship in the bag, but I'll have to do some quick fag packets and come back to you on that one. So Dan is in second, and shadowing, as he has been almost since turn 1, is Stormfly, who doesn't seem to be able to do anything to actually get by Dan. And the worst thing for Stormfly there in third is that both him and Dan are on the same strategy. So within the next 2 or 3 minutes, I would imagine they are going to be coming in for another pit stop, which will be their final pit stop. So in fourth, so I think, as I understand it, for this championship, it's 25 points for first, which is what Season4 are getting, and in second, Dan will get 23, and then it's 21 or 20 for third place. So it's going to be pretty close. So, okay, so Lockstack there in fourth had a really bad moment at turn 1, but has worked his way back up. But again, he's on the 2-stop strategy, so it'll be interesting to see how that works out, because just behind him, whoops, there we go, in fifth is Select, and the first of our single stoppers, oh dear, I'm pressing all the wrong buttons here tonight. The first of our single stoppers there is Stu Stoughton in sixth. Now he's 48 seconds behind the leaders. Now all those cars in front of him have got to pit. So we're going to get the answer to this question in about the next 3 minutes, because Season4, Dan, Stormfly, Lockstack and Select have all got to pit. Now Season4's too far in the front. I think Dan's still too far in front. I think Stu Stoughton might snatch a podium from this one, because I think with the time he's going to save by having that single stop, he's got less pace, but he's saving all that monstrous time of trundling down the pit lane on the jacks, change the wheels, refuel, trundle out the pit lane. He's going to save all that time, so I think that's going to shuffle his way up. So next in line we've got Noddy's mate in another of our 2 stoppers. Now I'm sure up in 7th out of a field of 12, I think Noddy is going to be well chuffed. Oh, hello, I think someone's had a bit of a moment. Looks like it's Select just in that first corner. It looks like he's getting going again. I don't think that's overly going to affect his race. Just keep an eye on someone has entered the pits. We'll have to jump down. Oh, that's Mark Parker in 9th there, who's jumped into the pits. So Snod goes up to 9th, but he's also got to pit as well. So he's got a second pit stop to take. But I think Mark has probably started. Oh, and Blue Jones Senior has gone for the pits as well. So 14 minutes, 13 minutes is about where we expect the second pit stops to start to happen. So let's just see where it works out, because Snod is one that's not going to have to pit again. So Season4 with 13 minutes remaining. Let's just have a look at his dashboard and see what's happening. So I think probably towards the end of this lap, he's going to have to be thinking about taking that right turn into pit lane, because otherwise he's going to get that flashing fuel light, that horrible moment of 0 miles left. Now I think the one that's going to be affected by most of this is Stu Stoughton, because he's there in 5th at the moment, and the guys in front of him have all got to pit. So I don't think Season4 and Dan are going to affect him, because I think he's got enough, they've got enough gap on him to stay in front. And as we saw earlier, Season4 picked off Stu Stoughton very easily during when he came back out after his pit stop. He had those fresher tyres and just did a mirror signal manoeuvre past him. So I don't think he's got a concern in that respect. Now we've just had a quick tot up on the abacus, and if Season4 finishes where he does, he will secure this season's V8 championship, so he just needs to keep trundling around where he is to get that trophy on his cabinet. So let's see where he's decided to go for the pits. Yep, here we go. So he's pulled the trigger on the pit stops. Dan, now he went a lap later last time. Is he going to go? He's round that last fast right-hander. Is he going to dive for the pits? No, he's going to stay out. Stormfly's gone for the pits. Lockstack, he's using the barrier to get around the corner. Not the fastest way around the corner, but if that's what he wants to do. So, round that tight left-hander. So, is he going to go for the pits? He needs to go for his second stop very soon. We'll hop on board with his dashboard. Yep, he's going to have to go now. He's on absolute vapours. So, the one we want to see where he's going to shake out on this. Now, Dan hasn't pitted. He's got the lead, but he's going to have to pit next lap. So, Stu Stoughton, where is he going to shake out in all of this? So, Sincore's just coming out of the pits. Stormfly is out of the pits as well. So, unfortunately for Stu Stoughton's single stop strategy, it hasn't overly worked, I'm afraid. So it looks like Select is going to come out behind him. Yeah, so it looks like he's going to work out about fourth for him at the moment. He's got 10 seconds on the guy behind him. We've got 11 minutes remaining. So even if his tyres are a bit worn, he should be okay. I thought that was going to work a bit better for Stu Stoughton because, you know, he was, you know, going brave for that single stop strategy. He can see Stormfly in front, but I don't think with slightly worn tyres he's going to be able to catch him. Now, one of our other single stoppers is Timorous down there in 6th. Now, let's see where he's on field. Oh, no, it looks like, yeah, he's got plenty of field to the end, but I don't think that's going to actually play to his advantage because Lockstech, Stormfly, Sincor, and now Dan is in the pit, have all pitted. So I don't think Timorous is going to do any better than 6th. So let's see where it's going to work for Sincor. He's round the last bend. Dan's sat in the pits there. He's up on the jacks, waiting for the fuel to go into his car. He's got a fresh set of boots. Sincor's round that last corner, heading down the straight, brushing that curb. Dan is still in the pits, still in the pits, still in the pits, and Sincor takes the lead. And all he's got to do is sit there for the last 10 minutes and do that to secure his championship. So Dan is just coming out of the pits. He's now got about 8 seconds on, 7.65. Oh, GT Sport is catching up with us. About 5.5 seconds on Stormfly. So those Stormfly in 3rd and Dan in 2nd were running awfully tight together earlier. So Dan seems to have brought a bit of space. And in the background there, that little blue haze in the background, Stu Stoughton. So be interested to see whether Stu has got the pace to catch Stormfly in 3rd. It's a big ask. He's about 3 seconds behind. So I'll get a little bit of an eye on that gap, but I think he might struggle to make that work. But interesting, Stu, very much the front runner of the one stoppers, and he qualified 4th, and he's actually followed that through with 4th in the race, despite the fact he's gone for a different strategy for the 3 guys in front of him. So let's work our way down. Lockstack had that big incident at the start early on, but has worked his way back up to 5th. I think he's had his 2nd stop. Let's have a quick look. He has, so he's got enough fuel to go to the end. But Timorous is the big winner from the grid. He started 10th and he's now up to 6th. So that one-stop strategy is very much working for him. So he's done well on that one. So Noddy's mate, he's up there in 7th. So I think he's going to be quite chuffed with that one, actually. So, you know, he qualified 7th, he's up to 7th. So I think he's going to be probably quite chuffed with that one. So he's managed to hang on to his position there. So Select there in 8th. Now, generally as one of the drivers, we tend to see a little bit closer towards the front. So maybe this is one of the circuits that doesn't work for him. I'm not quite sure where he qualified. Let me just have a quick look. So, but he qualified 6th actually, so he's dropped back. So He's one of the ones that the others have gained from, so that's not normally the way that we tend to see Select going. Mark Parker there in 9th. I'm thinking we're not unhappy with that one. He seems to have a look at his livery there. We've got a bit of a BTCC theme going on there with the Halfords. I think it should really be a Honda with a Uaza down the side, but I'm not going to be picky. But he qualified right at the back of the grid at 13th, so he's gained 4 places up there into 9th. And then we'll move on to Snod in 10th. So he's one of the guys that went for the single stop strategy, but for him it doesn't overly appear to have worked. He qualified 8th and he's dropped down to 10th, so it's not overly worked out for him. So and again, this is one of the drivers tends to see him with midfield, so if I'd had to put me 20p on it, I'd have said he'd have been sort of 6th or 7th. So it's not overly worked out for him tonight. So we're coming up with just over 6.5 minutes remaining, so we'll just work our way back. Blue Jones Senior, he's there in 11th. One of the drivers relatively new to us this season. He's been picking up speed as we go, and I'm sure he'd be chuffed to be there. He's on the lead lap almost, and he is just 20 odd seconds behind Snod, but he's ahead of Cajun 100. Unfortunately, he's slightly about to be lapped by Stormfly. So I think we'll see the blue flag is waving. I think generally in this oh, there we go, neat move by there by Blue Jones. Well done, let the faster car through. And at the back, and I think this is down to an incident that he had earlier, so I think the stewards will be getting a knock on the door from Cajun 100, who is down there in 12th. He's Kevin, he's a guy that actually organises the room for everyone, so we're very appreciative of that. But I'm sure there will be a little bit of red mist for what happened earlier, because he got a very hefty elbow off the track. So I'm sure there will be a little bit of a post-race debrief, shall we say, regarding that one. So let's just hop up the back and see what we got going on with Sincor. 12 seconds in front. Don't think he's really going to be rattled. So we're just dropping under. Here we go. 5 minutes to go. I'm just looking down. We don't seem to have any significant battles at the moment down the field, which from a commentator's point of view is obviously always quite disappointing. Get a nice circuit like this and everybody decides to give themselves a big gap, which is really irritating from my point of view. So we've obviously had a run through the field, so let's see if we can work out what else is potentially going to happen. I don't think anybody's going to let's just see. I think there might be something happening with Timorous. Okay, so Timorous is our big winner of the race. We just hopped on board with him. He's currently 6th. He's a guy that we know tends to go for the one-stop strategy. He's jumped from 10th in qualifying up to 6th. So I think he's probably our biggest gainer on the race over the sort of differential between qualifying and finishing, potentially, with 3 3/4 minutes left to go. Now we have got a little bit of a potential action coming here. Noddy's mate in 7th is being hunted down by Select in 8th, so the gap is down under 1.5 seconds. So I'll tell you what we're going to do. We're going to move back to Select. I'm going to hop on board to take you around this fantastic street circuit. As you can see, the barriers are right on the edge of the track here. It's like going to the TT races for motorcycles, so there's no real room for error. There's no skitting across the gravel trap or taking shortcuts, that kind of thing. If you get it wrong, you're going to get an Armco shaped side to your car. So it looks like Noddy's mate has actually managed to pull that gap open a little bit. Here we go, over the crest. Here we go, hard on the brakes. Use all the curve on the right hand side. Try and brush that. Oh, that was a little bit more of a brush than needed on the inside. Past the 40 kilometers an hour sign, which I think tends to get ignored. There we go, over the crest. One of the challenges with this circuit when I drive it is these blind corners like that section there. You're trying to turn in for an apex you can't see, which is with tracks where you've got no Armco, it's so much easier to see that red and white curb and get your target point where to turn in. With this track here, with these barriers lining it, making it like a tunnel, it's so much more difficult to decide where you've got to turn in, where to choose your apex from. So Select's working harder here, trying to catch up with Noddy's mate. He's got it under 1.3. We've got just 2 minutes remaining, so with the leaders, I think that's going to be 2 laps to go. So Select is working harder. He's got it down nearly a second. If we were Formula 1, we'd almost be in DRS. So here we go, through this left-right section. Again, it's so difficult to see. Where's your apex? Oh, it's there. There we go. It's got somewhere close to it. Oh, Noddy's mate across the grass there. Trying to take the shortest route possible. Here we go, another left-hander. Where's your apex? It's round the corner. There it is. So the leader, we believe, is just starting the final lap. We'll just hop away from this. So the leader has got 120. So there's the leader just doing some lapping as we work our way round. So I think Sincore's got 12 seconds. Now, I think if he's a little bit cute, crafty, I'm not quite sure the phrase you'd use, that he will be possibly able to wind off the throttle as he comes to the finishing line and let the time run out, because he's got 12 seconds on Dan. He's about halfway round the lap at the moment. Oh, hello, Sincore down the inside, gone a little bit deep there onto the marbles. That Snod has let him go, I think. Oh, Snod's trying to take advantage of the slipstream off Sincore, and I would do the very same thing myself, as long as I didn't spoil the drivers in front's race. So here we go, 21 seconds remaining. What's Sincore going to do? 15 seconds remaining. Now, when he crosses the line, if there's any time remaining, now he can back off. 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, 0. Okay, time's out. So Sincore finishes. So the drivers that have been lapped, they will be finishing now. We'll hop on board with Dan. He's in second, coming up the finish line. Great performance there by Dan, 13 seconds behind the leader, but unfortunately not quite quick enough. But he managed to hold off Stormfly, who was giving him a hard time for the first sort of third of the race. Stu Stoughton, new driver to us tonight. Fantastic performance there, gone for the single stop. Made it sort of work because he held his position he had early in. The front three sort of did really make their exit. So he did well a hell on. Lockstech, big incident at the first corner. Dropped all the way back. Oh, and then just picks up a half-second penalty, probably for a track limits issue there. So Timorous, again, another one of our single stoppers. Started 10th, now up to 6th. So can make that single stop work, particularly if you start a little bit way down the field. So he's done a great job there. Doing a bit of a wibbly up to the line. Hopefully he doesn't spin it. So Noddy's mate coming through in 7th. Still holding off Select. Coming over to congratulate his pit crew, and then there's 8th Select, and that's all the drivers finished. So we'll just bring up the result for you when we get to the end. I think everybody's crossed the line. There does seem to be somebody stuck by the finishing line. I'm not quite sure who that is. Oh, Cajun 100 decided to go for the pits. Now whether this was a fuel issue, I'm not sure. Let's have a look. Can we get on board with fuel? No. The flashing red engine bit bottom left hand corner suggests he broke the motor at some point. So obviously oh, hello, they've decided they're going to change the tyres and they're going to put fuel there. Slightly late, and he's finished, and there's our result. So we'll just bring it up on the screen for you any second now before we finish off. And there's Single. I'm sure he must have a room full of those garlands because he's won so many races in this series. So let's have a quick look. Oh. Okay. So here we go. Season4 in first, Dan second, Stormfly first, Steve Stanton, one of our new drivers, in fourth, Lockstech fifth. Great recovery from that first corner incident. Timorous in sixth. He started 10th and worked his way up to sixth. Noise Mate 7th. Select, a little bit of a loser there. He started 6th and dropped to 8th. Snod in 9th. Mark Parker 10th. And Blue Jones Senior in 11th. And Cajun 100 in 12th. And Nathan Slug was our one driver that retired. And then Season4 got our fastest lap there at 1 minute 40.559. So hopefully everyone's enjoyed watching tonight. We've got other series this week on a Tuesday and a Wednesday. So click on the like and the subscribe below the YouTube channel and you'll get notifications on that. And if you want to get involved in the racing, look up Flat Out E-Racing on Facebook and you'll be able to find everything else about them. So hope everyone's enjoyed tonight and hopefully you'll follow us again in the future. Take care everyone.